Hello, I'm Michael Holding, your host. Thank you for joining us to celebrate Neil Garvie's fourth book of prose and poetry, Off the Wall, published by Pod Creative. Some say there should be no humor in poetry. Off the Wall disputes this claim. The author warns, with tongue-in-cheek, that reading too much somber content can cause a myriad of life-interfering afflictions, such as dreary-drabitis, ho-humdrumysm, and stickinthemudica. Fortunately, Neil has an answer. The best solution is to reach for a book of wit and humor. And if you haven't got one on your shelf, we recommend that you try Off the Wall. Neil doesn't claim to be an expert in medicine or psychology, but he is an expert in laughter. He's found that the regular practice of giggling, cackling, tittering, and snorting has provided him with a true bella vita. Both the academic and literary communities are enthusiastic about Neil's book. Here are two reviews that support the claim that the lighter side brings relief from the doldrums. Neil Garvie's work is very thought-provoking. I love the way he mixes poetry and storytelling while skillfully tucking in hidden messages. This is a great set of poems and stories that are connected by a strand of common feelings, always under the guise of humor. Pay attention to the laughter, because it's the doorway to deeper thought. Many of Neil Garvie's poems are indeed off the wall. His musings are witty, wacky humor, offering a nuttiness that makes me smile and laugh. They also invite one to reread, to ponder, to explore his psyche. Garvie's keen observations of the world and evocative imagery both amuse and amaze. Neil writes with a charming, down-home style reflective of his Saskatchewan upbringing. Off the Wall is presented in a colorful variation of poetic form and content. Let's listen to the author as he reads a few selections from this collection.
Hi there, sunshine. It's good to see you. This first piece reflects the essence of Off the Wall. Laughter. It's what makes human beings unique. Here is laughter from the planet Earth. On planet Earth, laughter is a curious thing, don't you think? We seek laughter. It's part of our makeup. It completes our neurons. It adds color to our language. Laughter, it's a system of catharsis, pure bliss, a medicine, an elixir. It's a natural skill, a habit really, which happens like sleeping. It emerges the moment we stop trying. Like a dimmer switch slowly lighting, sometimes like a sunburst. I wonder how many laughs added up if the whole planet were measured. How many moments of the day do we break out in cackles and crowing? How many chortles? How many guffaws? How much snorting and roaring? Surely the airwaves would be filled. If we earthlings are known out there in space, it could be for our laughing planet. We are the ones who can't get through a day without bursts of insanity. Curious, odd species to render ourselves helpless, seeking out a mirthful loss of control, a momentary self-debilitating, destabilizing moment. Our hoo-hoo-hoos and ha-ha-has echo, suggesting we're addicted. We must have our fix. Does this expose a weakness, an earthling foible? Maybe. Yet, laughter could be our greatest gift to an otherwise chilly, impassive cosmos. Next, a playful piece. It includes me in some very good company. My mother would be pleased. Here is Jesus and Mary and Moses and me. Jesus and Mary and Moses and me went down to the ocean to water ski. Jesus could slalom like walking on water. Mary in a bikini couldn't look hotter. Moses complained the water was cold. I gathered pebbles, which later I sold, while little old ladies admiring the view shouted, "Blessed be us and blessed be you, for whatever we are, the same as we be, when down to the ocean we water ski." If you write, you'll know the experience of waking up in the night and trying to record some potentially splendid thought in the darkness before losing your flow. But the rub is trying to make sense of it all the next morning. Here's an enjambment poem, Crumpled Pink Roses. In my bed, surrounded by darkness, am I in sleep? Listen, my gray matter creeps. Images flow, no controlling impressions, mysteriously present in a free-falling stream. Blindly I reach for paper and pencil, unfettered by thoughts of tomorrow. The id let loose, paper flies, spilling into the night. Next morning did I dream what I wrote? In dim light my hand sweeps the covers. On my chest 3 errant pencils point across my blanket to a tumble of crinkled pink pages, the only color I now remember the corner store was selling. How like rose petals scattered. I collect, finding unreadable figures overlapping. Some drift into oblivion, rushing upstairs with an armful of blossoms, every step in panic. Each second could mean a tragic lost line at my keyboard. I try to decipher odd abstractions in phrases, in code, a surreal collection, gleanings, feature-captured surprises, fragmented images, iridescent hippos laughing, circles bounding, tractors in springs of graphite? Huh? My scribble lacks any trace of meaning, thoughts abandoned. In a flash, the genius left me, gone the magic that brought them. Clear-headed, but now aware of a guarded world. I'm troubled about lost messages for humankind. Gone poignant slogans, gone colorful phrases. Oh, what brilliance fills the trash can. A bouquet for the ages of crumpled pink roses. Do you know of a truck lot called Chuck's Trucks down by One Horse Bridge? Here's a poem about a party girl in a hoodie as they each make their way home after respective late-night drinking parties. This poem is presented as a pantoum and partially in French for added ambiance. Here is Pantoum to un fêtard à vélo. Churning her pedals on a post-party ride, morning comes early, sun's on the ridge, weather is crisp, an incoming tide, past camions on a one-horse bridge. Morning comes early, sun's on the ridge, late-night fêtard who can't find her fridge, past camion on a one-horse bridge, chased by a firefly, bit by a midge. Late-night fêtard who can't find her fridge, past un capuche who can skulk but not hide, chased by a firefly, bit by a midge. The priest will be praying and good Lord abide. Weather is crisp, an incoming tide, churning her pedals on a post-party ride. The longer we're together, my wife and I are asked more and more what's our secret. Here is secrets of a good marriage. We met, my wife and I, at a religious retreat. I couldn't think of anything else to do. She spilled her drink on me. She gave me her number, saying, "Call me up sometime." I did call her. We hooked up. Some people think a good date is where the guy spends money, but we just went for a walk in the forest. She got a tick, and we got chased by a bison. I helped move her and her kids to another city. When we got there, she hinted she'd say yes if I asked her. So I did ask her. She said yes. So I moved her and her kids back again. The marriage service was performed by a little couple, a pastor and his wife. They thought we were cute. We thought they were cute. Very sociable. When my wife sees anyone passing the house, she rushes out to chat them up, the neighbors, the postal deliverer, even Jehovah ladies. This while I'm inside peeking out the window. My wife's a fast mover, like a light she flashes. Sometimes she leaves the room while I'm in the middle of a story and she's back before I know she's gone. When my wife says, "I'm going to take a shower," I ask, "Can I watch?" She says, "Only if you hear me humming." My wife tries to teach me to eat smaller portions. She says, "You don't have to eat everything, you see." I tell her to mind her own business. Then when I complain about having a sore belly, she rolls her eyes to the ceiling. I'm not very handy, but I keep things in case someday I figure them out, like a AAA battery recharger, a hinge set for something or other, and a dishwasher repair guide. Yeah, as if. Once I disassembled a Christmas present from my wife. I thought it was a lighter. Turned out to be a magnifying glass with a flashlight. Broken. To keep the peace, my wife avoids gifting me knickknacks and making fix-it requests. On shopping trips, I get mixed up when cross-examined by the clerk. Then I get flustered and cranky. So my wife fixes things up. Last time we agreed it might be good if I wait in the car. I do all the driving in the family, and when my wife runs in a garden gate looking for ideas, she says, "Be back in a minute." She's back in 50. My wife doesn't know what's a minute. When we go to bed, my wife pulls the window wide open, even during winter. She sleeps under one sheet. I'm under 3 heavy blankets. When I wake in the morning, my nose has turned purple. My wife woke up from a nightmare. She asked, "Why didn't you save me from that awful phantom?" I apologized. I say we, meaning she and I. My wife also says we, meaning me and him. Grammatically different, yes. Either way, I think we're okay as long as we're both saying we. People keep asking, "What's the secret of a good marriage?" I answer, "It's the humming in the shower."
Once more, thanks for joining us for this virtual launch of Off the Wall. We hope you will purchase a copy of this exciting new book. The cost is $15 Canadian. To order, please go to garvie.ca and follow the instructions on the website. Please note that proceeds from the sale of this book will go to support the Canadian National Institute for the Blind. Finally, thanks to the following people for making this presentation possible: Carol Garvie, Lawrence J. Cooper, Dr. Terrence James, Michael Holding, Peter Vorster, and Hannah Rayside, and the Comox Valley Writers Society, Victoria Writers Society, and Federation of BC Writers.